My name is Amelia. I am 16 years old. I never imagined I'd be sitting in a stark courtroom, my hands clasped so tightly my knuckles turned white, as I waited to testify against the man who was supposed to protect me. I never thought I'd have to relive the darkest moments of my life in front of strangers, my voice breaking as I fought back tears. But sometimes the world pushes you to a point where staying silent isn't an option anymore. It's a chain that keeps you trapped. This is my story. A tale of loss, fear that consumed my days and nights, betrayal by those closest to me, and the raw courage I discovered when I finally broke free. I grew up in a modest apartment building in a bustling suburb, where the sounds of traffic and neighbours' laughter filtered through the thin walls. My family was small, just me, my mom and my dad. Dad was a mechanic with rough hands stained by oil, but he had the gentlest soul. He'd come home from the garage, scoop me up in a bear hug, and spin me around until I giggled uncontrollably. At night he'd sit on the edge of my bed, his voice low and soothing, telling me stories about far-off adventures, pirates sailing stormy seas or explorers discovering hidden treasures. "You're my brave adventurer, Amelia," he'd say, tucking me in with a kiss on my forehead. With him I felt invincible, like nothing bad could ever touch us. But when I was 9, everything shattered. Dad started complaining of chest pains, brushing them off as just a long day at work. One evening he collapsed in the kitchen, clutching his heart. Mom screamed for help and I stood frozen, watching the paramedics rush in. He had a massive heart attack and didn't survive the night. The hospital room was cold and sterile, the beeping machines a cruel reminder that he was gone. Mom broke down, her sobs echoing in the hallway, and I clung to her, feeling like the world had ended. After that, our home lost its light. Mom stopped cooking our favorite meals, the laughter faded into silence. She threw herself into work as a cashier at a local supermarket, but the grief hung over us like a heavy cloud. A year later, Mom met Greg at a grief support group. He was a salesman for a car dealership with a polished smile and a way of making her laugh again, a sound I hadn't heard in so long. "He's good for us, Amelia," Mom said, her eyes brighter than they'd been in months. "He wants to build a family, take care of things." I was wary. Greg's jokes felt forced, his compliments too slick, but seeing Mom happy again, I tried to warm up to him. They dated for 8 months before marrying in a simple city hall ceremony. At first, Greg seemed okay. He'd bring Mom chocolates, help with groceries, and even took us to the park on weekends. We moved into a slightly larger house in the same suburb with a backyard where I could play. But as the months passed, the mask slipped. Greg's temper emerged like a storm cloud. He'd snap over minor things, the dinner not being ready on time, a misplaced remote, or even the way I left my shoes by the door. His voice would boom through the house, making the walls shake. "Can't you do anything right?" He'd yell at Mom, who would flinch and apologize, her confidence eroding. I'd hide in my room, covering my ears, wishing it would stop. Then his anger turned to me. "Clean up your mess, girl." He'd bark if I forgot to put away my homework. His eyes would linger on me in a way that made my stomach twist, too long, too intense, especially when Mom was at work. I'd feel his gaze following me as I moved around the house, and it made my skin crawl. The first time it escalated, I was 11. I was doing homework in the living room when Greg sat too close on the couch, his hand brushing my knee. "You're getting so grown up, Amelia," he said, his voice low. I jerked away, mumbling an excuse to go to my room. From then on, I avoided being alone with him. I'd lock my door at night, push a chair against it for extra security. But the fear grew. He'd knock late at night, claiming he heard a noise or needed to check something. I'd pretend to be asleep, my heart racing until his footsteps faded. I tried telling Mom once. We were in the kitchen baking cookies, a rare happy moment. "Mom, Greg makes me uncomfortable," I said softly. "He looks at me weird and sometimes he comes into my room." Her face hardened. Amelia, stop that. Greg's your stepdad, he's family, don't make up stories. Her words strung like a slap. She chose to believe him to protect the life she'd rebuilt. I felt invisible, betrayed. From then on I buried the fear deep, smiling through the days, but at night I'd curl up with my old stuffed rabbit from Dad, whispering, "Please keep me safe." School was my refuge. I'd lose myself in classes, especially English, where I'd write stories of brave heroes escaping danger. But the stress showed, I became withdrawn, my grades dipped, my appetite vanished. My friends noticed, asking if I was okay, but I'd brush it off. "Just tired," I'd say. One day in history class I zoned out, staring at my notebook, doodling dark shadows. My teacher, Mr. Thompson, kept me after class. "Mia, you've been quiet lately. Is everything all right at home?" His concern cracked my facade, tears welled up. "No," I whispered, "it's not." He didn't push, but he listened as I haltingly shared Greg's temper, the uncomfortable stares, the late-night visits. "I don't feel safe," I admitted, my voice breaking. Mr. Thompson's face grew serious. "Thank you for trusting me, Mia. We'll get you help." He walked me to the counselor's office where Ms. Patel waited. She was gentle, with a soothing voice and a box of tissues ready. "Do you feel safe at home?" she asked. The dam broke. I poured out the years of fear, the shouts, the lingering touches that made me shudder. "My mom doesn't believe me," I sobbed. Ms. Patel hugged me. "You're incredibly brave, Mia. You're not alone now." The wheels turned fast. Child Protective Services was contacted, and by evening I was removed from home. Mom was furious, calling it a misunderstanding, but the investigators saw through it. I was placed in a group home for teens, a large Victorian house with peeling paint but a welcoming porch. The director, Mrs. Ramirez, greeted me with a warm smile. "This is a safe space, Mia," she said, showing me to a shared room. My roommate, Sophia, 15, with curly hair and a pierced nose, nodded from her bed. "Hey, bed's yours." I unpacked my backpack, clothes, a journal, Dad's old pocket watch. That night I lay awake, the unfamiliar creaks keeping me alert. Sophia whispered, "It sucks at first, but it gets better." Her words were a small comfort in the darkness. Life at the group home settled into a routine. Mrs. Ramirez was maternal, cooking family-style meals and enforcing chores that built a sense of normalcy. The other girls, Sophia, Kayla, and Nina, had their own scars, sharing snippets over card games or late-night talks. Sophia and I bonded quickly. She'd been through similar horrors. "You did the right thing speaking up," she'd say. "I waited too long." We'd walk to school together, her tough exterior hiding a kind heart. She gave me a spare blanket one chilly night, saying, "Nights are rough, this helps." School improved with support. Mr. Thompson checked in and Ms. Patel arranged therapy. In sessions I unpacked the fear, the guilt. Why didn't Mom believe me? The therapist helped me see it wasn't my fault. Mom visited under supervision, her face a mix of anger and sorrow. "Why are you doing this, Mia?" she'd ask. "Greg's good to us." But as evidence mounted, my journal entries, neighbor testimonies of shouts, the truth emerged. Greg was arrested for child endangerment. Mom filed for divorce, realizing the danger she'd ignored. A letter from Mom arrived one day. "Mia, I'm so sorry. I was blind, scared. I love you and want to make it right." Tears fell as I read it. Sophia sat with me. "Believe her?" she asked. "Maybe," I said. "I want to." Mom's visit was emotional. She hugged me, sobbing apologies. "I failed you," she said. I held her. "I needed you to listen." We started rebuilding slowly. A foster family, the Martins, expressed interest. Their home was warm, with a golden retriever named Buddy and a room just for me. Visits led to placement. Mr. Martin taught me guitar, Mrs. Martin baked pies, their son became like a brother. Adoption followed a year later. Mom and I mended, regular visits, therapy together. Greg faded into the past, his shadow lifting. At 16 I'm thriving, excelling in art, dreaming of college. Buddy curls at my feet as I sketch. Life's not perfect, but it's safe, filled with love. Dad's watch ticks on my wrist, a reminder of his strength in me. Speaking up saved me, now I help others find their voice. Thank you for watching, dear subscribers. Mia's story is one of silence broken, fear conquered, and hope renewed. If it inspired you, like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of courage. Share your thoughts, what helped you through tough times. See you next video.